being that this year specifically, the exact day that Christmas is supposed to be on is on the full moon in Cancer. It symbolically represents so much, and it really allowed the light to turn on in my head, because I've always known that this holiday was somehow connected to feminine energy, but now I'm very clear and I'm very certain that it has always been connected to the Great Mother. Peace and prosperity. Welcome back to Earth's Feminine. And if you're new here, welcome. This is the channel where you can learn all about primal feminine energy, the original feminine energy before colonization, before all of the conditioning that has been done around the way we perceive and understand about being a woman here on this planet. My name is Asaya. I am the creatrix and founder of the CREATRIX Academy. The CREATRIX Academy is an online platform that hosts courses, programs, and a community that helps women to unlock their mystical art of feminine energy. If you would like to learn more about the CREATRIX Academy, I have links down below that will help you to see which course or which program aligns with you and what you are currently going through in your feminine energy journey. In this video, we're going to be talking about how December 25th is actually the celebration and the worship of the Great Mother. I recently did a video titled "Why Religion Hates Powerful Women," and in that video I briefly talk about how, because we live on Earth and Earth is a feminine planet, in a way we all don't have really much of a choice but to give our honor and worship to the feminine in some way, form, or fashion. And after I recorded that video, started thinking about the holiday that is coming up pretty soon, which is one of the biggest holidays on at least the Western Hemisphere, if not the world. One of the biggest holidays that pretty much everyone, almost everyone, celebrates. If they don't celebrate Christmas, they're celebrating Kwanzaa, they're celebrating Hanukkah. There's some kind of worship going on around this time, and it all just started to come together and click for me. So that's what I want to break down in this video, of how this holiday, right? Because holidays are portals. These days of the year that everyone celebrates, that comes up during these sacred times, is not for no reason. Before I started this channel, I had an astrology channel because I am a professional and expert astrologer, and a lot of my teachings and a lot of the things that I study and learn have to do with the realms of astrology and esoterics. And so by me being an astrologer, I understand and I know that the timing of things has meaning, it's very meaningful. Okay, it's not coincidence. So every holiday of the year, there's a specific astrological meaning to that time frame. There's a certain energy that's present during that time. And so at the end of the year, there's a certain energy that's present during this time. And one of the biggest energies that are present during this time is the ending of what's known as the 13 lunar cycles. So every single year, there are 13 lunar cycles, okay? There are 12 zodiac signs, but when it comes to the lunar cycles, these lunar cycles cycle throughout the year 13 times, okay? In astrology, there's a lot of debate and there's a lot of talk about how there are actually 13 zodiac signs, But really, the number 13 is relevant to the divine feminine. It's talking about the 13 moons and not 13 zodiacs. The 13 moons in ancient indigenous culture represents 13 original women that walked the earth and were essentially immortal, right? They lived for a very long time, and in their lifespan they cultivated these 13 principles of feminine energy. And so every lunar cycle we meet with these 13 women and what their principles teach us. And so at the end of this year, on December 25th, we just so happen to be entering into the 13th lunar cycle. And this 13th lunar cycle is also placed within the energetics of the full moon being in Cancer. This isn't something that just happens one time. Typically, when we have the sun entering into a certain zodiac sign, the full moon is going to be in the opposite zodiac sign. So for example, when we are in Leo season, 9 times out of 10, we're going to have a full moon in Aquarius. When we are in Aquarius season, 9 times out of 10, we're going to have a full moon in Leo. When we are in Scorpio season, 9 times out of 10, we're going to have a full moon in Taurus. When we enter into these zodiac seasons, the opposite sign of that zodiac gets reflected into the full moon. Now we are in the season of Capricorn. Capricorn represents the father. Capricorn represents the structure within society. Capricorn represents the grandfather and also the universal laws of existence. This is what Capricorn represents. And Capricorn's opposite is the Cancerian energy, which represents the great mother, the feminine energy of the planet, the grandmother moon, right? So Capricorn represents this grandfather energy. Cancer represents this grandmother energy. And she connects us to all of life throughout all of existence. She is the portal and the gateway of souls coming into being here on this planet Earth. This is why women are also ruled by the moon, and our wombs are ruled by the moon, because this is the sacred portal that allows life to come into this world, to come into this realm. Being that this year specifically, the exact day that Christmas is supposed to be on is on the full moon in Cancer. It symbolically represents so much, and it really allowed the light to turn on in my head, because I've always known that this holiday was somehow connected to feminine energy, but now I'm very clear and I'm very certain that it has always been connected to the Great Mother and the celebration of the birth of a new being. So energetically, when we're looking at the 13 lunar cycles, this 13th moon that we're entering into represents the final lunar cycle of the year. And the final lunar cycle of the year is a culmination of all of the previous 12 lunar cycles that we went through. That means that every single principle of feminine energy from the previous 12 lunar cycles are coming into one during the 13th lunar cycle. And we are creating a new beginning. This is what the 13th mother represents. She represents creating a new beginning, a new woman, a new existence, creating your vision based off of everything that you have been through previously. This is the energy that's present in this 13th moon. And not only that, but we are also in the energy of the full moon being in the sign of the great grandmother moon. We are dealing with full-on celebration of feminine energy, of womanhood, and also of motherhood, of birthing new life into the world, onto the planet. And this is why this holiday is one of the biggest holidays on the planet, because without worshiping this great mother, without worshiping this divine feminine cosmic energy, there ceases to be life, a continuation of life. Full moons represent celebration, represent festivities, represents a culmination of all of the things that we have learned previously, and it's truly a time of celebration. It can also be a sacred time of preparing yourself to release what no longer serves you as you move into the waning moon. But ultimately, full moons are always a time of celebrating, of being grateful and giving thanks, coming together and having festive celebrations around life. These aren't the only symbols that came up that caused me to really put the pieces together and understand what we are really doing during this time. Are we really worshiping the birth of Jesus, right? Because in the Bible, Yahshua or Jesus isn't born until the spring. So the logistics really doesn't make sense. What are we really celebrating here during this time? And it comes back to understanding that we're not celebrating the birth of someone, but we're celebrating birth itself. We are celebrating the ability to conceive, to create life itself. We are celebrating the divine feminine, whether you want to believe it or accept it or not. Astrology is the original philosophy before any religion, before any science. Astrology was the beginning. So if you want to get primal and you want to get to the core, this is as authentic and as primal as it's going to get. There are also some other symbols that came up, right, that allow me to really realize, okay, this holiday is about the worshiping of the Great Mother. But we want to just start with the word Christmas, okay? Christmas. Christ, which being the derivative of Christ, okay, means anointed one, okay? To be anointed, and the Hebrew version meaning one who is anointed. Now we want to go into the ending of that word, which is the ending of the etymology of the word Christmas, which is ma. So ma, we can go into, well, I mean, clearly, ma meaning one's mother. Basically, it's a title for mother or mommy or a person's mother. This is basically the etymology of ma. Ma. All over the world, people use that to call forth their mom, their mother. They go, ma, ama, mama, like whatever you live. Like, that's typically what people say. So we have Christ, the anointed one. Then we have ma. We can add the S on the end. Mas, meaning plural, like many mothers. Christ, the anointed. Mas, mothers, the anointed mothers, the mothers of anointing. So we know just in the title of the holiday that that is what we are talking about here. So now after that, I went into the symbology of the tree. Why people have been using trees as a way to symbolically represent this time of celebration. The tree represents fertility, represents eternal life. We look at a tree, we can think of the ultimate symbology of a tree, which is the tree of life. So the tree of life is something that represents the source of life, a force that connects all lives. It also represents this cycle of life and death. And what does birth represent? What is the energetics of birth? Because when you have new life, the only way you can have new life is when old life is gone. When the old life is gone, you have the new life. So so basically, we are bringing connection to ancestral roots and divinity into our home through the symbolic representation of the tree. During the same time, we enter into a full moon in Cancer, which represents the Great Mother. Not only that, the name of Christmas, when you break down the etymology of the word, means the anointed mother. There's so much more symbology that goes into this time frame, into this holiday, that will lead you back to the Great Mother and the Divine Feminine. And I'll link some more of the sources that I've found to help convey this down below. But this is what I've come to. This is where I'm at. And this is basically my newfound ritual every single year, is to make sure that I am making this time to be a sacred time towards honoring the Divine Feminine. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you believe, or do you feel like this is the true meaning of this time frame during this time? Do you think that the world has been massively conditioned into thinking that this time frame is really about something that it's actually not, when it's really at its core an honoring and a worshiping of the great woman, the Great Mother, without people being consciously aware of it? Do you feel like if people were more consciously aware of this truth, that it would energetically shift the way we relate to our earth, the energetics of our earth, and the way that we operate here on this planet as a collective in relationship to our feminine energy and our masculine energy? Let me know down below in the comment box what you guys think. And I will also be doing my first live video on this channel on December 25th to celebrate this great time of the divine and sacred worship of the Great Mother. So if you would like to join me during that live, I'm going to be doing a purification ritual around all things self-love, Divine Feminine, connecting to and creating that next level version of feminine energy here on this planet. So if you would like to be a part of that, if you would like to join to receive the juiciness of that purification, if there have been things that you really feel like you want to release and let go of, leave behind in 2023 and take with you into the new year, then this is the live video for you. So make sure you join me when I go live on the 25th. And if you're watching this in the future, the live video will still be on this channel. You will have access to watching it. So I will most likely link this video down below in the description. I'm glad that I finally put all the pieces together, and now I can start celebrating this time without all of the guilt and shame that I know a lot of people, especially more spiritually conscious people, tend to feel when they get into the holiday times. You know you don't want to be inauthentic. You know you don't want to celebrate something that doesn't really have real meaning for you. And I feel like this is truly a way for you to still celebrate these times, but in a way that is truthful and more authentic to you, who you are, and what you believe in. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, join the Earth's Feminine community, and I will see you all in my next video.